Jemison's approach to both religion and race are what I would call decentering. One of the things that fantasy and science fiction allow is a way to look at kind of key issues of our life without taking the way we do things for granted. Now, sometimes writers just kind of more or less uncritically reproduce the existing social structures, the relationship between men and women, the relationship between various racial and ethnic groups, the relationship with various religious denominations, right in their fictional worlds. Just repeat it just like it was. There's some science fiction from the 1950s where it's going to be the 1950s forever in the suburbs of Long Island. There is the obvious opportunity to kind of flip things around. Whoa, what if the women were in charge and the men were subordinated? A lot of stories like that have been written, some very original, many less so. That's now called somewhat pejoratively the discursive flip. What if the black people were enslaving the white people? Okay. What Jemison does isn't reverse the power structure, just reproduce it. She reshuffles it, which takes which takes both as a premise and suggests as a premise that our particular power arrangements are historically contingent, and it could totally be another way that they're not natural. There's no particular reason that white people should be given this particular advantage and people of other skin colors should be. So it is true that the Aramari are skinny and tall and pale. They are mostly white people. The people of Dar are browner, not quite black, but it's also the case that like Tavril has red hair. That's a sign that he's not Aramari. He's a half breed. That's a red hair, a sign of real whiteness in our culture. Is in this novel a sign of being some weird outlandish barbarian, right? That it's not just the normal racial hierarchy we know. It's another racial hierarchy, which is not exactly our own, but is equally stupid and unfair. It allows us to look at it allows us to look at a racial hierarchy. If we don't have any stakes in the game, what would this be like if we just imagined in a kind of John Rawls, the political philosopher way, like John Rawls asked, what would you want? What would you want the social arrangement to be if you didn't know where you were gonna stand in it? What would you pick if you didn't know which part you would have to play? This is like, okay, what does this arrangement look like from outside? And Jemison is very aware that political power is often used by unpleasant people and that the oppressed are not made better necessarily by their oppression. The Intifada are not great. The enslaved gods in this novel are both wronged and super dangerous and untrustworthy and unfair. Those things are both true. In the same way, the religion here is like, is this Christianity? No. Is this a mirror image of Christianity? Christianity turned its head? Also, no. This is not any particular religion that has ever existed in human history, though it clearly draws upon and echoes them. It's a way of stepping back and looking at a kind of set of religious beliefs from a neutral position. Here's the decentering works because none of us grew up in the 100,000 kingdoms. None of us grew up with these deities. They are all fictions. And that fictionality allows us more space to think about the underlying issues without considering our stakes in a society that we don't have a stake in.